Episode 10, The Vanishing Path. A blinding white light engulfed them, forcing them to shield their eyes. The air crackled with static, and an unbearable ringing filled their ears. Then, as suddenly as it began, the light faded. Alex blinked rapidly, struggling to focus. The chamber, the monster, the well, it was all gone. Instead, they stood in an open forest, shrouded in thick mist. The trees loomed tall, their twisted branches curling like skeletal fingers. A chilling wind rustled through the leaves, carrying an unsettling whisper. "Where are we?" Jade breathed, rubbing her arms against the sudden cold. Noah turned in a slow circle. "This isn't the underground chamber. This isn't even the church anymore." Riley groaned. "Great. Teleportation now? What's next? Time travel?" Sam, still gripping Alex's arm, pointed ahead. "Look." A narrow dirt path stretched before them, vanishing into the thick fog. Unlike the rest of the eerie landscape, the path was lined with small, flickering lanterns. They cast a golden glow, the only warmth in the otherwise cold surroundings. Alex tightened his grip on the dagger. "Something brought us here. And I think it wants us to follow the path." Jade sighed. "Do we ever get to say no to creepy supernatural invitations?" With no other option, they cautiously stepped forward. The lanterns flickered as they passed, their flames swaying despite the stillness of the air. The deeper they walked, the heavier the atmosphere became, pressing against their chests like an invisible weight. Then, the whispering returned. It wasn't coming from behind them this time. It was ahead. Noah slowed his steps. "Do you hear that?" The whispers grew louder, overlapping into an eerie, wordless chant. Then, between the tangled roots of a massive oak tree, a figure emerged. A woman, pale and draped in a tattered black cloak, stood in the middle of the path. Her long, tangled hair obscured most of her face, but her hollow, glowing eyes burned through the strands. In her hands, she held a rusted lantern, its flame an unnatural blue. "You are not meant to be here," she rasped. Riley took an instinctive step back. "Cool. We'll just go, then." The woman shook her head. "No. The path has already chosen you." Before anyone could react, the lanterns lining the trail flickered violently, then extinguished all at once. Darkness swallowed them whole. The instant the lanterns went out, an oppressive darkness wrapped around them. It wasn't just the absence of light, it was something alive, pressing in from all sides. The air turned ice cold, thick with the weight of unseen eyes. Alex reached out blindly. "Stay close." Jade's fingers found his arm. Riley grabbed onto Noah's sleeve. Sam's breathing was quick and shallow. Then, the woman's lantern flared with an eerie blue glow, cutting through the darkness like a blade. She raised it high, her voice barely above a whisper. "You must not stray from the path." The light illuminated the twisted trees around them, except now, the bark pulsed like flesh, veins of darkness writhing beneath its surface. Faces formed in the gnarled wood, mouths stretched open in silent screams. Noah swallowed hard. "This just keeps getting worse." A low, guttural sound rumbled through the forest. It wasn't the wind. Something was moving in the dark. Sam clutched Riley's arm. "I don't want to find out what that is." The woman turned toward the path ahead. "Walk." They hesitated. "Walk," she snapped, her voice suddenly filled with urgency. The ground trembled beneath them as something massive stirred beyond the trees. Branches cracked, and deep, raspy breaths echoed through the gloom. Whatever was lurking in the shadows wasn't just watching anymore, it was coming. Alex took the first step forward, and the others followed, their hearts pounding. The woman moved with them, her lantern casting ghostly light on their surroundings. The whisper slithered through the air again, but now, words emerged. "Turn back. Leave. Stay forever." Riley let out a nervous laugh. "Not creepy at all." Jade shot him a look. "You're coping with humor again." "It's that, or screaming. And I don't want to do that." The path twisted sharply, and they nearly stumbled over a gaping hole in the ground. It wasn't just a ditch, it was a grave, freshly dug, the damp earth reeking of decay. A wooden sign was staked into the ground beside it. 5 empty graves. One for each of them. A gust of wind sent dead leaves tumbling across the graves, and suddenly, dirt began to shift inside them. Hands, pale, skeletal, and covered in rotting flesh, clawed their way to the surface. Noah cursed. Nope. Nope. Not doing this. The woman turned to them. Run. The first corpse pulled itself free from the grave, empty sockets locked onto them. The others followed. Alex didn't wait for more instructions. Go. They sprinted down the path, their lungs burning. The dead things moved unnaturally fast, their bones snapping as they lurched forward. The path twisted and narrowed, and the blue lantern light bobbed ahead of them. Sam gasped. How do we get out of here? The woman's voice cut through the chaos. You must reach the end of the path, before the final lantern goes out. Riley risked a glance behind them. More figures were rising from the ground, dragging themselves free, their lips moving in silent chants. And then, one of the lanterns ahead flickered. Time was running out. The flickering lantern ahead sent a jolt of panic through them. If the woman's warning was true, once the final lantern went out, they'd be trapped here. Forever. Alex's legs burned as he pushed forward, gripping the dagger like a lifeline. The trees on either side of the path warped and twisted, their branches reaching toward them like skeletal arms. The ground beneath their feet felt wrong, as if they were running on something alive. Jade barely dodged a sudden root that shot up from the earth. The forest is changing, Noah, breathing hard, pointed toward the trees. Not just that, they're coming from everywhere. The dead things weren't just crawling from the graves anymore. They were emerging from the trees themselves, pulling free from the bark like insects shedding their skins. Their hollow eyes burned with an unnatural glow, their lips twitching as they whispered. Stay with us. One reached for Riley's ankle. He yelped, kicking wildly. Nope. Nope. I'm not getting dragged into zombie hell today. Sam grabbed his arm and yanked him forward. Less talking, more running. The woman with the lantern moved ahead of them, her glow barely keeping the darkness at bay. Faster. The light will not hold much longer. Ahead, the second lantern flickered. Alex cursed under his breath. This is bad. Jade's eyes darted around. There has to be a way to slow them down. Riley, despite his terror, somehow managed a grin. Anyone got a giant can of bug spray? Because these guys look rancid. Noah, ignoring him, looked at Alex. The dagger. It worked on the door before, maybe it can do something now. Alex hesitated. The blade still felt warm in his grip, but he had no idea how to use it. Just stabbing the ground wouldn't do anything, right? Another lantern flickered. No time to think. Gritting his teeth, Alex raised the dagger. Get back. The instant he swung it, a shockwave of pale blue energy burst from the blade. The effect was immediate, the dead things closest to them froze, their limbs locked in unnatural positions. Some collapsed to the ground, while others remained mid-lunge, their mouths stretched open in silent screams. Riley's eyes widened. Okay, that was awesome. Do it again. Alex, breathing hard, looked down at the dagger. The glow was already fading. Whatever that was, he couldn't do it forever. Sam pointed to the path ahead. We're close, I see the last lantern. But as they neared it, the earth trembled beneath them. A deep, shuddering crack echoed through the forest. The final lantern flickered, then went out. A crushing silence fell over the forest. The air turned heavy, as if the world itself was holding its breath. Then, from the darkness, something massive began to rise. The trees bent backward as a monstrous figure emerged, a titan of shadow, with jagged limbs and empty voids where eyes should have been. The air around it warped and pulsed as if reality itself couldn't contain it. The whispering grew deafening. It wasn't voices anymore, it was screams. Jade gripped Alex's arm. "Tell me you have one more magic trick left." Alex swallowed hard. "I don't know." The woman with the lantern turned to face the monster. For the first time, her voice wavered. This was not supposed to wake. The thing moved, and the very ground shattered. Alex raised the dagger, but he wasn't sure if even that would be enough. Then, just before the darkness swallowed them whole, a door appeared. A massive, ornate door stood in the middle of the broken path, glowing with golden light. It was completely out of place, as if someone had plucked it from another world and set it there. The woman's eyes widened. "Run." Alex didn't hesitate. "Go. Go now." They sprinted toward the door, dodging collapsing trees and grasping hands. The monster let out a bone-rattling roar, its body twisting unnaturally as it reached for them. Riley threw himself forward first, slamming into the door. It swallowed him whole. Noah and Sam followed, vanishing the instant they touched the glowing wood. Jade grabbed Alex's hand and pulled him with her. "We're not dying here." As they reached the door, Alex chanced one final look back. The woman stood before the beast, her lantern burning brighter than ever. She turned to him, her hollow eyes locking onto his. "You are not done yet," she whispered. Then, the golden light pulled him in. Darkness consumed the forest behind him. And then, silence. End of episode 10.